She had just turned 68. A regular Wednesday, dinner at 6, a phone call with her daughter, and then bed by 10. No signs, no warnings, just sleep. But by morning, she couldn't speak. Her right hand wouldn't move. The left side of her face had drooped. A stroke. Silent. Devastating. And overnight. Does that sound rare to you? Here's the truth most people don't know. Nearly 1 out of every 3 strokes happens while someone is asleep. That means millions of Americans go to bed feeling fine and never wake up the same. Why is that? Because the night, while peaceful, is not passive. Your blood pressure shifts, your heart rhythm adjusts, your body redistributes fluids. It's a time of healing, but also a time of risk. And if just one system falls out of balance, even slightly, it can trigger a chain reaction that changes your life forever. But here's what gives us power. Strokes don't always come without warning. In many cases, they build quietly from the little habits we repeat night after night. Habits we've never questioned because they're routine, because they feel normal. But what if those normal habits are quietly stacking the odds against us? Tonight, we'll uncover the evening mistakes that may be raising your stroke risk, without you ever realizing it. Because protecting your brain, your speech, your independence, it may be as simple as rethinking what you do between dinner and bedtime. And the best part? It's not too late. You can start tonight. You brush your teeth. Turn off the lights. Maybe glance at your phone one last time. And then you drift off, thinking the day is done. But what if your night is just beginning? For your blood pressure. What if something as small as a salty snack, a skipped glass of water, or the way you sleep is quietly putting pressure on the most fragile vessels in your brain? Because it's not always about the big moments. Sometimes it's the small, repeated choices, the ones we make on autopilot, that slowly raise our risk. And here's what might surprise you most. Many of these habits are things we've been doing for years. Things that seem harmless, comforting even. But as we age, the body changes. What once felt safe might now be silently dangerous. That's why tonight, we're going to walk through 8 common evening habits, things many of us do without thinking, that could be increasing your stroke risk while you sleep. More importantly, I'll show you how to change them. Not with fear, but with simple, doable swaps. One habit at a time. Because staying sharp, staying strong, and waking up clear-headed tomorrow starts with the choices you make tonight. It starts out small. You've had dinner hours ago, but your stomach gives you a little nudge. Just a little something, it says. Something warm, something salty. So you reach for a can of soup, or maybe a couple of crackers, a slice or two of deli meat. It feels harmless, comforting even. But here's the truth. That small late-night snack might be packing more sodium than your body can handle. And for older adults, that excess salt doesn't leave quietly. It lingers. You see, as we age, our kidneys don't filter sodium as efficiently. So when we eat salty foods at night, our body holds on to that salt, raising the volume of our blood and tightening the pressure inside our arteries. During the day, your heart works against gravity. But at night, when you lie down, that fluid redistributes. It flows more easily toward your brain. And if your blood is already thick, already under pressure, that moment becomes dangerous. Why? Because the early morning hours, between 4 and 6 a.m., are when stroke risk peaks. That's when your blood vessels are most vulnerable. That's when one small clot or burst artery can change everything. And what's behind many of these early morning strokes? A quiet storm of high blood pressure fueled by salt, just a few hours earlier. But here's the good news. You can take control of that moment. Instead of salty snacks, try half an avocado on whole grain toast, or a handful of unsalted nuts, or fresh berries with a spoonful of plain yogurt. And if you need something warm, skip the instant noodles and make a quick homemade soup with low-sodium broth. It takes 10 minutes, but it might give you 10 more years of sharp mornings, clear speech, and steady hands. Because protecting your brain doesn't always mean doing something hard. Sometimes it just means doing something different. You don't feel thirsty, so you skip the water. After all, who wants to get up 3 times a night to use the bathroom? It makes sense, but it's also one of the most overlooked stroke risks for older adults. Because here's what most people don't realize. Even mild dehydration can change the thickness of your blood. And thicker blood? That means slower flow and a higher chance of clotting, especially during long stretches of sleep when your body naturally slows down. The National Institutes of Health has shown that this increase in blood thickness can lead to a greater risk of stroke, particularly between midnight and early morning hours when blood pressure patterns are most vulnerable. And as we age, our kidneys become less efficient. We retain more salt. We lose water faster. It's a dangerous mix, especially if we've eaten something salty earlier in the evening. So, what's the solution? It's not about chugging a full glass of water right before bed. That can wake you up all night long. Instead, try sipping 6 to 8 ounces of water about 1 hour before you lie down. Room temperature is best. Add a slice of lemon or cucumber for natural electrolytes. Then, use the bathroom just before climbing into bed. This simple routine helps maintain blood volume, supports circulation, and reduces clot risk without disrupting your rest. And here's what's most important. A single glass of water may seem small, but it could be the quiet hero that keeps your blood flowing smoothly while you sleep. Because instead of waking up groggy, or worse, not waking up clear at all, you could rise with a steady heart, a sharp mind, and one more day to live fully. All thanks to a few sips, made with intention. You finish dinner, the kitchen's clean, the dishes are done, and your body is tired. So you sit down. Maybe you lie back on the couch, or even climb into bed early, just for a minute. But here's the problem. Lying down too soon after eating might be setting off a chain reaction inside your body, one that could quietly raise your stroke risk overnight. Why? Because your digestive system needs gravity. When you recline right after a meal, stomach acid can flow backward into the esophagus. That's acid reflux. But for older adults, it's more than just heartburn. Studies from the American Journal of Gastroenterology have found that acid reflux at night is linked to nocturnal hypertension, a hidden rise in blood pressure that happens while you sleep. When your body is supposed to be resting, it's actually struggling. Your digestive tract is still working overtime. Your heart rate stays elevated. Your blood pressure never gets the break it needs. And if you already live with high blood pressure, diabetes, or vascular disease, this small habit, eating and lying down, can tip the balance. So, what's the better choice? Instead of heading straight to bed after dinner, give your body a little time. Try to finish your last meal at least 2.5 to 3 hours before you lie down. And after you eat, take a short, slow walk. Just 10 minutes around the house can help kickstart digestion and ease pressure in your system. If you're too tired to stay upright, sit with your back supported and elevated, never flat. And if you take medications after dinner, talk to your doctor. Adjusting the timing might help reduce nighttime blood pressure spikes. Because your body heals best when it's truly at rest. And digestion deserves its time, so your brain can have its peace. Just one glass, that's all. A little red wine to relax the nerves. Maybe a shot of whiskey to help you sleep. It feels harmless, maybe even healthy. After all, haven't we all heard that a small amount of alcohol, especially red wine, can be good for the heart? But here's what most people don't realize. When you drink alcohol in the evening, it doesn't always stay gentle. At first, yes, it relaxes you. It widens your blood vessels, slows your thoughts, eases tension. But just a few hours later, your body rebounds. Your blood vessels constrict. Your heart rate increases. Your blood pressure rises, especially during the deep hours of sleep when your body should be resting. That rebound effect turns what felt like relaxation into stress. On your heart, on your brain, on your nervous system. And studies published in the journal Stroke by the American Heart Association found something clear. Even moderate alcohol consumption in the evening raises stroke risk in older adults, particularly after age 60. And it doesn't stop there. Alcohol interferes with deep sleep. It fragments your cycles. It suppresses REM, and it increases the chances of sleep apnea, which further disrupts oxygen flow to the brain. So, while alcohol might help you fall asleep, it prevents your brain from repairing while you sleep. Now, does that mean you can never enjoy a drink again? Not at all. But timing matters. If you do enjoy a glass, have it earlier in the evening and always with food. And avoid drinking within 3 to 4 hours of bedtime. Because instead of using alcohol to wind down, try a different kind of ritual. A warm herbal tea, gentle music, a phone call with someone you love. Because protecting your sleep protects your brain. And waking up clear tomorrow might depend on what you sip tonight. You close your eyes at midnight. You open them again at 3 a.m. You toss. You turn. You check the clock. Again. And by morning, you feel foggy, unsteady, maybe even a little anxious. You tell yourself it's just age. Just a rough night. But here's the thing. Poor sleep isn't just tiring. It's dangerous. According to the American Academy of Neurology, getting less than 6 hours of quality sleep increases your risk of stroke by up to 45%, especially after age 60. Why? Because sleep is when your body resets. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure dips. Inflammation goes down. Your brain clears waste, heals tissue, restores balance. But when you don't sleep long enough, or deeply enough, that reset never fully happens. Your blood pressure stays elevated. Your stress hormones remain high. Your blood vessels carry the burden all night long. And for older adults, especially those with diabetes, high blood pressure, or a history of stroke, this sleep disruption becomes a direct threat. So, what can you do? Create a bedtime rhythm. Go to sleep and wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends. Avoid screens an hour before bed. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. If you're waking often to use the bathroom, talk to your doctor. There may be adjustments you can make, either with fluid intake or medications. And if you feel unusually sleepy during the day, or you snore loudly at night, ask about sleep apnea. Many people live with it for years without knowing, and it's closely tied to nighttime strokes. Because instead of struggling through broken nights, you deserve rest that restores you, sleep that protects you, not just from fatigue, but from the kind of damage you can't feel until it's too late. It's quiet. You're in bed. The lights are off. But there's still a glow. That soft blue light coming from your phone, or your tablet, or the TV in the corner of the room. You're just scrolling, checking the news, watching a short video to relax. But what if that little light is sending the wrong message to your brain? Blue light, especially at night, interferes with melatonin, the hormone that helps your body know it's time to sleep. And without melatonin, your brain thinks it's still daytime. That means your heart rate stays higher, your blood pressure doesn't dip like it should, and the calming wave that prepares your brain for deep rest, it never comes. But it's not just the light. It's the content, the news that stirs anxiety, the videos that overstimulate, the comparisons that leave you feeling restless or alone. According to the Journal of Clinical Hypertension, emotional and visual stimulation before bed can cause spikes in nighttime blood pressure. And for seniors, those spikes aren't just stressful. They're dangerous. They're linked directly to the early morning strokes we're trying to prevent. So, what can you do instead? Set a screen curfew about an hour before bed. Use that time to wind down gently. Read a book. Listen to calm music. Practice deep breathing. Or simply sit in quiet. If you need light, use a warm-colored night lamp. And if you must use your phone, switch it to night mode. It won't eliminate the effects completely, but it helps. Because instead of letting screens keep your brain alert, give it permission to rest. The quiet before sleep isn't just comfort. It's chemistry. And what you do with that hour could mean the difference between deep healing and deep risk. You check your blood pressure in the morning. Maybe again after lunch. But at night? Most people don't think to. And that's where danger can slip in quietly, under the cover of routine. Because blood pressure isn't steady. It doesn't stay the same from dawn to dusk. In fact, for many older adults, the most dangerous spikes happen after dark, between midnight and 6 a.m. It's called nocturnal hypertension, a silent rise in blood pressure during sleep. And research from the American Heart Association shows it's a leading driver of strokes that strike during the night or right after waking. But why would pressure rise while you're resting? As your body lies flat, fluid redistributes. If you've eaten salty foods, missed your evening medication, or are under stress, your blood vessels may not relax as they should. Instead of dipping, your pressure builds. And without checking, you'd never know. No symptoms, no warnings, until it's too late. That's why one of the most powerful habits you can build is this. Check your blood pressure before bed. Especially if you've had a stressful day, eaten later than usual, or notice unusual fatigue. Keep a small log by your nightstand. Share it with your doctor. Look for patterns, because knowing your numbers isn't about fear, it's about control. It's a window into what your body's doing when you're not paying attention. And here's the truth. Instead of assuming your blood pressure is fine because you feel okay, why not confirm it? One quiet reading at night could mean one safer morning. And when it comes to your brain, that's not a small thing. It's late. You've brushed your teeth. You turn off the lights and lie down. But the way you sleep, and whether anyone is nearby, could quietly influence your safety through the night. Let's start with position. Many older adults sleep on their stomach, or with their neck sharply turned to one side. Sometimes it's just habit. Other times, it feels comfortable. But here's what the research shows. Sleeping face down or with the neck twisted for long periods can reduce blood flow to the brain, especially if your arteries are already narrowed or stiff. It's like putting a kink in a garden hose. The water still flows, but not the way it should. Over time, this restriction may increase stroke risk during vulnerable hours. And then there's something even more delicate: sleeping alone. For many seniors, it's a reality, either by choice or by circumstance. But the risk isn't just emotional, it's medical. If a stroke happens during the night, and there's no one nearby to recognize the signs, a precious window is lost. Minutes matter. And when you're sleeping alone, those minutes may stretch too long. A drooping face, slurred speech, a limb that won't move. In the middle of the night, without someone there, these signals may go unnoticed until it's too late. So, what can you do? If you sleep alone, consider a wearable medical alert device. Something that can detect stillness, falls, or abnormal movement. Let a neighbor or family member know when you're not feeling quite right before bed. Even a small headache or unusual fatigue might be worth mentioning. And try sleeping on your back or side, with your head and neck supported in a neutral position. Give your brain the best circulation possible while it rests. Because instead of sleeping in silence and hoping for the best, you can sleep in safety, knowing your body is supported and someone has your back, even when you're fast asleep. Let's pause for a moment and pull it all together. Because even if you build the right habits, what you put on your plate before bed can still make or break your night. Some foods seem harmless, comforting even, but they can quietly raise blood pressure, disrupt sleep, and increase your stroke risk when your body is most vulnerable. So tonight, let's talk about 6 foods to rethink after sunset, especially if you're over 60. 1. Canned soups and instant noodles. They're warm and easy, but one serving can contain more than 1,000 nanograms of sodium. At night, when your kidneys slow down, that salt stays in your system, putting pressure on your blood vessels all night long. 2. Processed cheese and deli meats. Quick snacks like salami or cold cuts are packed with saturated fat and preservatives that stiffen arteries and increase clot risk, especially dangerous while you're asleep. 3. Cookies and sugary desserts. Sweets can spike your blood sugar and trigger inflammation. Instead of helping you wind down, they keep your heart and brain on alert. 4. Fried foods. Greasy dinners linger in your stomach, slowing digestion and increasing the risk of reflux. And as you know now, reflux isn't just uncomfortable. It's tied to nighttime blood pressure spikes. 5. Spicy meals. Hot sauce, chili, even black pepper can stimulate your nervous system, raise your body temperature, and interfere with deep sleep cycles. 6. Chocolate and coffee. Even dark chocolate contains caffeine and theobromine. These keep your heart rate elevated and delay melatonin release, just when your body needs to wind down. Now, this isn't about giving up everything you love. It's about timing. It's about choosing foods that calm your system, not challenge it right before rest. Because instead of letting dinner sabotage your night, you can let it support your brain, your heart, and your tomorrow. So tonight, as you dim the lights and settle in, remember this: The small habits you choose between dinner and bedtime, they matter. They're not just about sleep. They're about protection, about keeping your speech clear, your memory sharp, your steps steady. Because instead of waiting for a warning sign, you can build a quiet defense, one thoughtful choice at a time. So start simple. Skip the salty snacks. Sip a little water. Turn off the screens. Check your blood pressure. And let your body rest the way it was meant to. Then share this message. Because someone you love might still believe that sleep is always safe. That what we do in the evening doesn't matter. But now you know better. And by sharing, you might help protect someone else's tomorrow. Just like you've started protecting your own.